Roxo Media House.
Welcome into Dissecting the Frogs. This week we continue our countdown of the 10 biggest plays that were impactful for the Horned Frogs this season. I'm Brian Estridge. I'm in for Maggie, Hale. I don't know how I got this duty, but I'm here with the guru, the man, David Beaudin, who's been counting them down. And you've gone, what are we now, like 5 or 6 somewhere?
We got play 6 and 5 today. So
Okay.
Fired up and glad to have you here.
Yeah, all right. Now tell me, I want to get into these 2 specific plays, but just so we can let folks know, these are the 10 most impactful plays on the season. Am I right about this?
That's right, yeah. We're just trying to break down how it had an impact on the entire season. There was a lot. These plays really, it was more than just what happened on the field during that time.
Yeah.
So, I think there was a chain effect for a lot of these.
See, this is interesting because you know how coaches are. Coaches will say, well, it wasn't just one play. You're in the same way. But you feel these were that important that they're worth rehashing here.
Yeah, for sure. We're finally going to get into the Fiesta Bowl. We haven't had that, yet, and so you can't do a top 10 without including something for the Fiesta Bowl.
Right.
So excited about that. And then we're going to go back to Week 5 with Max Duggan. We're going to see Week 5 against
Oklahoma. I got it.
That's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
All right.
So it's going to be a fun one.
Okay, good deal. All right, so we got plays 6 and 5. We're counting up. We're not counting down.
That's right.
We're counting up. We're kind of counting down. Anyway, we're trying to get to number 1, and we'll get to it next. The surgeon is in. Former head coach David Beaudin brings his football expertise to Frog fans everywhere in Dissecting the Frogs.
PlayActionPools.com. The newest sports pool hosting platform, Play Action Pools is your spot for all of your football contest needs. Whether it's a pick'em or survivor pool, Play Action has you covered against or without the spread. Be sure to check out PlayActionPools.com and use code FROGS today for 15% off your league.
All right, now it's time for the juice. We are here to try to figure out exactly what's going on as number 6 is in front of us right now. The 6th most impactful play of the year for the Horned Frogs. And you're going to the Fiesta Bowl for this one, you said. There's about 20 plays in that game I could have picked.
Yeah.
Which one'd you go with?
Well, we started off with that Bud Clark interception, pick 6, for a touchdown in the first quarter. Brian, when you look at that, you have to remember they're coming off their last game was a loss to a physical football team in Kansas State in the Big 12 championship. And so to come out against another team that's known for being big and physical up front, they had to play, tough on defense and make some noise. And so when you look at it, you set the scene for that game. Obviously, that first play of the game for Michigan, they ran that ISO play. They took it on the huge run. And then they come up with a 4-down stop down there. They flip the field with the punt. And on the offense doesn't do much, doesn't get it going, so they flip the field in the punt. And now Michigan, this is the first play back, and they throw that interception.
Yes.
And so, I think for a lot of reasons, so that was a big deal, making a statement. And then for Bud Clark to get out, get some defensive points and go up 7-0. I think it was a moment for TCU to say, hey, we belong here, right? We belong on this stage in this game. I know there was a lot of controversy and, who should have been in the mix and whatnot, especially coming off the loss. So I thought it was a big deal there.
How about the fact that it was the defense that got on the board first? How important was it for this team to see that defense have success?
No, that's exactly right. Because when you look at, again, going back to that Kansas State loss, I think, there was a lot of talk of that last play of the game, but really the defense, got some criticism, throughout that game. And so for them to come out and make a statement, and then later on, I think we saw the impact on J.J. McCarthy. They took shot after shot down the field, and frankly, they made some of those, but a lot of them were overthrown because I think, he was just getting the ball out a little early on some of those deals. And really, when you look at that, I think there's a direct correlation with that interception on that first play of the second drive, because he hitched up. We're going to take a look at that on film here in a second. But because of that, he got the ball out early, some overthrown, and I think that really, favored the Frogs down the stretch.
And by the way, it couldn't happen to a better guy, Bud Clark, huh?
That's right. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, you gotta love to see it.
One of our favorites. All right, I've always wanted to say this. Let's go to the tape.
1st and 10 now for Harbaugh's team. With 2 receivers to the right, they start from their own 34-yard line. Edwards in to throw the football on 1st down. It's picked off by the Horned Frogs. Down to the 10, touchdown. That's Bud Clark who stepped in front of it and comes up with it. Frogs get the first score of the game. Michigan finding out about TCU.
I just think it's kind of cool to be able to say go to the tape. We're here in the Flying T Club studios right now. All right, Coach David Beaudin, you have selected a play from the Fiesta Bowl game. Thank goodness. I mean, it took him a while to get there. But you decided to go with defense, and you talked about how this kind of set the tone for things.
Yeah, it did. And so you look at, they went with a 3-man rush again. So it was a drop 8. It was a quarters coverage with man principles. So when you look at sort of the umbrella of this coverage, here everyone has a quarter of the field deep, but they have some man principles. You'll see a man turn up top. We talked about that last week, what that means and what that looks like. Over here on the bottom side, though, you've got a motion with a tight end and a wing. So Trey Hodges-Tomlinson is keying this one right now, okay, this wing for Michigan. As soon as he goes in, he's going to slough off, okay, and the safety's going to take this. They're running some sort of drive concept, and basically it's just a high-low, as you can see here, they're starting to create. So that's where J.J. McCarthy, the quarterback from Michigan, that's where his eyes go first. They're looking to this side. Okay, he comes off that pretty quickly because the Frogs do a great job covering this on this side, and then they pass this thing off. When you talk to these linebackers with these crossing routes, Hodges and the law firm of Hodge and Hodges is over here. They pass it off, and they're each other's eyes, right? Mm-hmm. They communicate to one another to pass that off. So now we come back to this side. Now, what Bud Clark did a great job of, Bud Clark is lined up over this slot receiver for Michigan. They say the average play for a drop-back pass is about 3.4 seconds. So theoretically, if you're in a perfect world, you want to teach the defender any kind of zone concept, that first 1.7, so to speak, he's looking at the quarterback and reading his eyes, and then he transitions to the receiver. And Bud Clark does a fantastic job. As soon as he sees J.J. McCarthy, the quarterback, go to his side, he now knows, okay, the ball's coming out. He's reading this front elbow. You'll see that front elbow come off. That's when he can make a break and transition his eyes over to this side, okay, where he can make a break on the ball. The great part about what Bud Clark does here, instead of running to the man, he understands the passing lane in front. He takes a great angle. Now, Michigan, this is sort of a lazy route. It's not as sharp as it should be on the speed cut. He kind of drifts a little bit and allows Bud Clark to come underneath. Okay, last thing, Brian, I know I'm getting excited about this one, and it was a big play for the Frogs to go up 7-0. When you watch J.J. McCarthy, he really never had a great base, coming out of there. And so, he doesn't take a good drop. He has a shuffle instead of a crossover. It should be catch, rock, and rip the ball out. Mm-hmm. He doesn't. He shuffles out. His base is too wide. That prevents him. What happens is it sort of blocks your hip, from throwing the ball. When when you do that, you don't have that torque on it, kind of like a baseball batter. When you're swinging, it's the same kind of idea. That's where you generate that power from the base. He doesn't have that there, and it results in an interception and 6 points here for the Frogs.
Okay, so is there anything that Bud is doing as far as baiting him into that throw?
Yeah, well, I think, one of the things, we'll go back and look at this, is his technique, right? He is baiting him because he's playing soft, right? Okay. He's playing off, and right now.
What you would assume is soft. It's not really.
That's right.
It looks soft,
that's
but
exactly
it's not.
Right. That's the bait portion of it.
Yeah.
And, DBs are taught one or two techniques. They can either bicycle out of it, it's exactly what it sounds like, where their legs turn in, and that's how they get out of their break, or they T-step, creating that back T with their foot. That's what Bud does here when he makes the break. You watch that back foot. Right there, he sticks it in the ground, and he's able to make the catch and then head up the sideline. You see the Frogs trying to lead him all through, but he doesn't need much. He's already hitting the end zone.
All right, go back to J.J. McCarthy if you could. I want to take a look at when he's looking to his right, and you said Bud Clark is checking his front elbow. How does Bud know he's not throwing it to the outside receiver? Because you got two guys in that general vicinity.
Sure.
How does he know?
No, it's a great question. I think what they say is it's sort of that front camera of the quarterback is pointing right at him, right? So you want to make sure that now had he been his body angled a little bit more this way, then Bud may know it's going to the outside. So I think that's a big thing. A lot of times too, the next logical question is, well, how do they know he's not pump faking? But if you watch the quarterbacks a lot of times, the quarterbacks who pump fake with two hands, that's terrible, right? That's awful. Yeah. The next level of that is one hand, but often you won't see that front elbow go up, right? It's just more of this, they're patting the ball, they're trying to nod the shoulders, but as soon as that separates and that elbow comes up, that's indicating that he's going to pull the trigger.
Gotcha. If you're Michigan, where should he have gone with this football?
Well, ironically, he could have went to that speed out the same throw, but it had to be automatic, right? It had to go right now with it. The biggest problem was not necessarily who his intended receiver was, it was the timing of it. It was just late, and that's why when we talked about in the open here for this play, I think this impacted some throws later in the game down the field. He's just trying to get rid of it quick.
So did we think originally he wanted to come here, he wanted to come on the left-hand side, and that's when you said he gets pitched off?
That's right.
You think that's where the play originally was designed
he wanted to go to that tight end wing side.
That's why he looks there first.
That's right.
That slows it down as far as the read to the right is concerned. That's why he's late getting the ball.
You're exactly right. Yeah, if you're going to throw a speed out, which should have been a 5 to 7 yard route, it's now or never. You got to throw it. You can't come back to it late.
Gotcha. He would have been better off throwing the vertical and just letting a jump ball with one-on-one coverage out there, wouldn't he?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But lucky for the Frogs, he didn't.
Exactly. All right. We broke it down there for you. All right. We like that one. All right. That's play number 6 on the year, right? Play number 5 happens next.
Flying T Club provides the everyday TCU fan and alum the ability to specifically support TCU student athletes. Flying T Club offers 3 levels of memberships. The Flying T Club is a nonprofit organization supporting the brand development of TCU student athletes through a series of unique event-based networking opportunities, which are exclusive to our members. These events provide a great social engagement tool for our members and student athletes alike. Follow them on Instagram at Flying T Club or online at flyingtclub.com.
Texas-based Happy Water offers the best-tasting, sugar-free kids drink ever made. Happy Water comes in 4 delicious flavors that you can find at local retailers and on Amazon. Each pouch contains 0 grams of sugar, 0 calories, and 0% juice. Head to happydrinks.com for more information and to purchase Happy Water. That's HAPI drinks.com. Live happy, be happy, drink happy. Simply the best barbecue in Fort Worth. Dine in, catering, or drive-through. 2900 Montgomery, just off I-30. Remember, the best barbecue in Fort Worth is at Railhead Smokehouse.
3 receivers to the left. Miller gets a carry up the middle. No. Duggan rips it away and is sprinting down the right-hand sideline. 40, 30, 20, 10. Touchdown. 67-yard sprint. What a fake from Duggan, who makes the OU defense pay with another score. And the Frogs go up 19-3 on Oklahoma.
Rolling on with Dissecting the Frogs here in the Flying T Club studios. Coach David Beaudin is alongside us. We're counting down the top 10 plays of the year for the Horned Frogs. The most impactful, if you will. We're at number 5 right now, and you go all the way back to week number 5, as you mentioned, for this one against Oklahoma.
We do, and this is a big one to take them up 20-3 in the first quarter, Brian.
Wow.
Yes, and so this one was a run all the way. A lot of times they'll have a pass option attached, but if you look at these 3 wide receivers for the Horned Frogs up top, okay, when you look at these guys, they're not running much of a pass route up there. They're just kind of coming off the ball. But what it does by lining up out there, and you notice that they all sort of plus split. They get outside the hash, all 3 of them, and that takes these guys out of the box, and then they've got one overhang here. Now, leading up to this week, we talked on Facing the Frogs, I remember with Jamie Plunkett, about Brent Venables coming over from Clemson. He'd been there, it would seem like forever, and really he was trying to put all that stuff and cram it in. They were just trying to do so much.
11 or 12 years, right?
Yeah, that's right. And now all of a sudden, in year 1, I think he thought he could have the whole kitchen sink in there. And so, you see that bit them a little bit. They're a little bit out of position. The Frogs here are going to run a zone read with an arc by the tight end. Okay, when they played SMU just prior to this, they did the same exact concept. They had a tight end and wing both arc. This one here, they're in a 3-by-1 formation with this nub tight end, Jared Wiley. So Jared Wiley's going to arc to this corner. Now, really where the Sooners are in trouble, is they've got a couple guys really playing out of position. They go with a man-free concept. Here's your free safety. Everybody else is in man underneath on this side. But they don't travel the corner over. This is the corner here. Kanai Walker, number 26 for OU, he doesn't travel over. He doesn't go corners over. A lot of teams will when they match up against man. He stays on this backside. So now he's really the edge player as a cornerback. The second thing, and we're going to let this run here for a second, is as he arcs, now the linebacker, Danny Stutzman, right here, he's got to play like a defensive end. And now, you were out at the Frogs practices all the time, and you see the defensive ends working sort of that slow play now that zone read is so popular. Right? Defensive ends are working that every single day. The linebackers playing at that second level, not so much. So he's really out of his comfort zone, and they do a nice job here of riding this thing, and then Max is going to take off. And Jared Wiley, I want you to note here, as the corner, again, he's not used to setting an edge, right?
Yeah.
That close to the box. He lets him fall in.
Yeah, he's lost leverage.
That's
here.
right. And then he's able to seal that thing now, and then it's just a foot race that Max Duggan just puts on. Again, I would remind everybody, that's not just Iowa speed.
Right.
That's speed anywhere in the country.
Yeah, that's Oklahoma speed. All right, go back to it because I want to go back and talk about Stutzman, the linebacker here. All right, so he comes in, he commits. Yep. He commits at that mesh point right there. That's supposed to be a read essentially for him, but he's not reading it.
No, yeah, you're saying for Stutzman, yeah.
Yeah.
No, Max Duggan's reading him the whole way.
Right.
He's doing that there.
But I mean, he's reading that mesh point too. Essentially, the linebacker is to see where that ball is going to go.
That's right, yeah.
But he's committed.
Exactly. Yeah, and he's committed, and it goes back to lack of repetitions just doing that.
Yeah.
He should slow play it a little bit, squeeze down by staying square to the line of scrimmage. But as soon as he turns this left shoulder, he's done.
Yeah.
Right? If he stays square and squeezes, he can play both, at least have a chance to make a play on both. But as soon as he turns that shoulder, he's out leveraged and it's game over.
Yeah, and leverage, we talked about that earlier because then the corner loses leverage here on the end. You can't turn him back inside anymore.
That's right.
And then you got a big man like Jared Wiley who's hovering over the top of you at 6'7".
No, that's it. And so really OU doesn't have the numbers to begin with. And you combine that with the fact they have a couple guys playing out of position, they're really in trouble.
I'll go back one more time. All right, I want to watch it from the center here because I want to, and the safety may get out of the shot here. That's, by the way, that's a pretty good mesh, and it's going on.
Yeah, the reason we're able to do this, Brian, is really discipline pre-snap.
Okay.
A lot of times these running backs, and Coach Anthony Jones does a great job with these guys and making sure they don't keep creeping closer and closer to the quarterback, to Max Duggan.
Yeah.
They keep that spacing and allows that mesh time, that ride time to increase, and that really influences the linebacker, Danny Stutzman, as we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
That influences that. The second thing that Max Duggan does really well is he reaches that ball across his body. Mm-hmm. If he just sticks the ball out, there's a huge difference. He doesn't have time to read it or create a true mesh. He puts the ball across his body. He's able to ride that. Max does something interesting here. His feet are actually just planted. A lot of times we'll take that back leg and sort of roll with it and have some momentum going the other way. So it's even more impressive for Max to have his feet sort of stuck in the mud and then get up to full speed like that.
All right, here's another thing. All right, let's watch this. To me, one other thing that throws it off is for Oklahoma is a safety.
Yeah,
because watch what the safety does here. Maybe this is a better angle. So first off, he's moved the corner over. All right, so keep an eye on this safety because his safety, again, like Stutzman, commits. Where's his first move?
Yeah, he does. The problem is that they're shorthanded. And so in man free, he's the only free runner. And so he's got to fit, he's now got to help and commit to this run fit. But again, they're out leveraged here. And then this is really the reason why I picked this play because, you're talking about an elite athlete right here who, even though he commits, Brian, like you said, has a decent angle, right? And to watch this foot race, have a decent angle, and Max Duggan's just pulling away. He's gaining ground on him.
Go back again because he commits, and it's essentially for 5 yards. Watch. All right, so when he starts, you got the mesh that's going to happen. All right, here we go. Boom. All right, so he's still now he's going to start going forward. Max already has the football.
Yeah, right.
And he runs 5 yards before he realizes it.
Yeah, he does. And again, that goes back to it was a really great mesh, right? On top of that. So.
Yeah. Good stuff there. All right, man. Finally, picked a game, play against Oklahoma. The blowout. Come on, David Beaudin. All right, we got a lot more we got to get into. We'll do that after we take this time out.
For exclusive interviews and content on TCU recruits, subscribe now at frogstoday.com. Any sport, anytime. It's your source for all things TCU. Only on frogstoday.com.
Dave's Hot Chicken is a cult favorite and now has 2 locations in Fort Worth, Bryant Irvin Road on I-20 and Berry Street at TCU, both owned and operated by Horned Frogs. Mention the Frogs Today show and get 10% off anytime and order online at daveshotchicken.com.
Say hello to the water of tomorrow. Richard's Rainwater. Richard's Rainwater is 100% rain, refreshing, renewable, and the only ingredient we use in our water. Why rain? Because everyone deserves access to clean water, and rain is a 100% renewable resource available everywhere. Drink the rain. Save the planet. Shop now at richardsrainwater.com.
Well, somehow we survived. We made it here together on the set Dissecting the Frogs in for Maggie Hale this week. David had to put up with me because I wanted to dive into those plays. You know, I like that X's and O's stuff, kind of. All right, so we've done 6 and 5. So we got 4 and 3 coming up next. No, but you're not going to tease or tempt me with anything, huh?
No, 4-3 does come next, so nothing gets past you,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So
Yeah.
and then we'll get
I
down
can
to
count down.
you got it, and
Yeah.
then we'll get down to 1 here in two weeks. So
All right.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yes,
All right.
for sure.
We got a lot coming up this week, obviously. In fact, tonight, big time's happening at John's Grill, right?
That's right, the Players Club. If you missed it last week, and go on to Frogs Today YouTube and check it out.
Yeah.
But make sure you can actually watch live tonight at 6 o'clock,
That's
which
right.
will be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, Emma and Olivia, they're going to be talking some beach volleyball tonight.
Excellent,
So
excellent, yeah.
That'll be a lot of fun. We got another edition of Frogs Today happening tomorrow on Friday. Then Saturday, our pre- and post-game shows. Big basketball game, Oklahoma State in town. Frogs, you have to hold serve at home, and they'll have a chance against Oklahoma State. That's happening at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Jamie Plunkett will be out there with Amric Fields sitting in with him on the pre- and post-game shows. Beaudin, you're even going to be at that game.
I am, yeah. I
All
can't
right.
wait. I
Yeah.
can't wait. Yeah, Big 12 basketball has been a blast
Yeah.
this year so far. But as far as the plays, O'Brien, I want before they go,
Yes.
drop it in the comments. Make sure you let us know which ones did I miss already. I'm
Right.
sure that you guys have some great ideas. So let us know. Go ahead. You can criticize.
Yeah.
But if one that you don't like, it was his fault.
Yeah, right. But you got 4 left, so maybe you can correct any mistakes
There
you
we
made.
go. We'll
All right.
try.
All right. For Coach David Beaudin, I'm Brian Estridge. Our entire crew here at Frogs Today. Don't forget, we want you to like, subscribe, share, comment, everything at frogstoday.com and on our YouTube channel as well. We need you here. This edition of Dissecting the Frogs has been fun. Look forward to plays 4 and 3. They'll be happening here next week, all right, here on Dissecting the Frogs. Thanks for joining us. Have yourself a good night.
The surge in his head, former head coach David Beaudin brings his football expertise to Frog fans everywhere in Dissecting the Frogs.
PlayActionPools.com. The newest sports pool hosting platform, Play Action Pools is your spot for all of your football contest needs. Whether it's a pick'em or survivor pool, Play Action has you covered against or without the spread. Be sure to check out PlayActionPools.com and use code FROGS today for 50% off your league.
Roxo Media House.